All right, guys, welcome back. Happy New Year to everybody. Crazy 2024 is here. Interesting note here, came across over the holidays. Side pot fishing. If you're not familiar with side pot fishing, check out sidepotfishing.com and you can get yourself familiar with side pot fishing. But it's just exactly that. It's a side pot with anglers competing at mostly, has been boater trails and series from Bass Opens, Invitationals, NPFL, Toyota Series, BFL, ABA, Bass Nation, college fishing, could do side pots. Okay. So in addition to their entry fee to the specific tournament, there's also a side pot running on that particular event for all the anglers that are fishing it. Now, for 2024, side pot fishing will have side pots for kayak fishing. So Hobie and Bassmaster Kayak Series have signed on, or side pot has signed them on to list their events on their page. You can see that right here. It has got Hobie Bass Open Series, Kayak, Bass Kayak Series. That would be Bassmaster. $100. Okay, so basically it's $100 in addition to, say, your $295 Hobie fee. I think Hobie's still $295, and I think Bass is $250. So it's $100 more in addition to that for any of you anglers out there that are going to plan on fishing, like, say, if you're in our region and you're going to fish Susquehanna in late July for Bassmaster, or you're going to fish Cayuga in New York for Hobie. You then can put you into the side pot by paying in an additional $100. So it's very, very, very fun, cool, interesting to talk to guys that have participated in that from the boater side. But now it is entered into the kayak space. So very, very interesting. Here's the thing, though. It kind of makes, because you guys know on my channel, I'm always like analytical and always thinking metrics and everything. It's going to be interesting to see how many people participate in this. I think it's neat. But because you heard a lot of, from October to December, a lot of stuff went down in the kayak fishing industry, community, right? A lot of back and forth, kayak purists versus motor this, motor that, nuclear power, whatever it is, right? It gets kind of ridiculous, okay? But let's face it, guys in kayaks want their kayaks to be boats. That's the only way around it. That's the only, I'm not trying to throw shade, but guys with kayaks want their kayaks to be boats. So they want to be able to run bigger motors. They want to be able to run two motors. Guys are going to want to be able to run two, even though the trails don't allow that. They want on the back, one on the front. All that kind of mess is what they want. And they want to trick them out. Okay. Again, that's probably the evolution. And we're seeing other evolutions in the sport like this, right? And probably going to see the return of fantasy kayak. Okay, that was kind of 2 or 3 years ago, really before COVID. That was kind of a thing where you guys could get on there. I would love for there to be a side pot fishing fantasy where I could pay $100 and pick a fantasy team for some kayak fishing events or some boater events like a Toyota Series, Tackle Warehouse Invitational, something like that. I get down with that. Hell yeah. Right? Why not? It's almost like a side pot for fantasy. But it's going to be interesting to see because there's been this argument about how expensive the trails need to be and are the trails too expensive? Are the trails pricing people out? Guys want more payouts, bigger payouts. This is a way for them to get a bigger payout by putting $100 into the side pot. If you think about it. But it's going to be interesting to see how many anglers, say Hobie, participate in this. If you have an event with 150 to 175 anglers fishing in a Hobie event, okay, which you could get in Texas easily, and say 50% or 75% of the field pays an extra $100 for side pot fishing, there's kind of a conversation there for, well, couldn't we go to $395 entry fees for Hobie? I'm just saying, not recommending that, but I'm just saying, analytically thinking, critically thinking about it, if people are willing to pay extra $100 for a side pot, betting on themselves, right? Because that's what you're doing in a side pot, is you're betting on yourself. Would they be willing to pay an extra $100 for the event in 2025? It's going to be interesting to see. That's why I think paying attention to these metrics and seeing how many anglers actually participate in the side pots. I think the side pots are awesome, but I don't know the answer to that question at $100. I don't know how many will. I think probably I would not be surprised if 15 to 20% of the field does. That would not surprise me. 50%, over 50% of the field doing it, that would surprise me. That would tell me, if I was running that series, Hobie or Bass, that we got some room to increase our payouts through increasing our entry fees. Now, a lot of people have always worried about when you increase entry fees, registrations go down. I'm not so sure that's going to be the case in 2024 to 2026. I just don't. Because the brands are established now. I've always said I thought Hobie and Bass should merge. I always said that. And that would be one juggernaut of a kayak series with the branding of the Bass organization and the operational excellence in terms of what Hobie does on event day, because everybody always raves about their events. So they're obviously really good event organizers and event planners and event executioners, right? That would be a great, great thing. Mind you, Bassmaster has half as many events as Hobie. Okay, I think it only has 5. So you can go on the side pot fishing and you can actually drop down menu for side pot fishing. Okay, the tournaments are all up for Hobie. And the first one coming on the 27th of January, Harris Chain in Florida, then Texas, then Logan Martin, Lake Norman, Wright Patman in Texas, Cayuga, Seneca in New York, Saginaw Bay, and Chickamauga. Okay, so those are on the drop-down menu. You come in here and you'll click on Bass Open Series, you'll have a drop-down menu. Okay, now, payouts. Obviously, on side pot fishing, you can go to example payouts and you can kind of see. But for kayak fishing, it says entries must be received before the start of the tournament. Yeah, okay. Entry is an individual tournament basis. In order to register for multiple tournaments, you've got to individually add them to your card. So you got to individually add each tournament. 90% overall payback distributed. So that's a guaranteed 90% payout. Okay. The rest of it all goes to probably, I would say, just being like a TD myself, fees and all that good stuff. Plus the software, the tracking, and all the stuff they've got invested probably in side pot fishing, all that good stuff. So 90% overall payback. 1 to 5 entries, 1 angler gets paid. So if 5 people enter, the top of the 5 is going to win the pot. Okay, that's what that means. 6 to 10, 2. 11 to 15, 3. 16 to 20, 4. 21 to 50, 5. So my assumption is, if you got 50% of the field to register in the side pot, that would be 75 anglers, okay? Because we'll say 150. I'm sure Hobie will do more, but 150. So that would mean a payout of 71 to 80 entries pays out 8, okay? 8 spots. 40% to the first spot, 20% to the second spot, 10% to the third, 8 to the fourth, 7 to the fifth, 6 to the sixth. 5 to 7, 5, 4 to 8. Do that really fast. Okay. So that's on 75. Okay. So if you got 25% of the Hobie Trail, okay, on the first event for Harris Chain, it'd be back down in that 21 to 50. Okay. Which would be 5 anglers paid. 45, 25, 15, 10, and 5 is your split. Okay. So that's something to think about. Pretty cool idea. Glad to see Kayak. Glad to see Kayak is catching up with boaters on this stuff as well. Still want to see more fantasy. Okay, that's what I want to see in kayak fishing, is legit fantasy. Some kind of fantasy side pot that you could bet on, your guys, three anglers, whatever it would be. I don't know. That would be really, really cool. I get down with that. But anyway, interesting enough, I passed this along. This was passed along to me with boater guys here in our region, because we were talking about the schedule for the BFLs in the Northeast, Shenandoah, and Piedmont, and being able to participate. Side pot is co-anglers, side pot is boaters, and then boom, here it is. Wait, kayak bass fishing, kayak side pots. What? Again, Hobie and Kayak Bassmaster Nation. There is no KVF mentioned on this. I don't know if that's, we'll see. Whether that's down the road in the future or whatever, or this is what they're starting with. We will see how that works out. But pretty cool. Check it out. They're on Facebook, Side Pot Fishing. They're on the internet, sidepotfishing.com. Just click on the register button. You can see up here. Okay, click on that, and then just gets you to the page we're on right here. And you click on College Side Pots, which I did, and you can click on either of these. Drop-down menus open up. You can register for the events, pay your $100 for each event that you're planning on fishing. Get your friends involved. Remember, the more people that you share this to, okay, that competes in kayak events and BFL events, because I know some boaters, I already know some boaters will tune into this too. Obviously, the more people in, the more spots that get paid out. It's pretty simple. It's just math, okay? And so if you want the most spots being paid out, like not over 90 entries, I mean, you get above 100 entries, you're talking about playing out 10 spots, okay? So if you think about it, how many spots, and I don't know the answer to this question, so you put it in the comments and hit me up, let me know, because I can't remember. How many spots does Hobie pay out? If Hobie has 150 to 175 people show up at Harris Chain, how many spots do they pay out? Is it like 12, 15? I don't know. Okay? I don't remember. But anyway, if you had 100 people doing the side pot, it pays out somewhere between 9, 10, or 11 spots. Okay? So think about that. I mean, that's right along with the trail. Okay? I don't know how many spots Bassmaster pays out in their events. I think it's 10. But that gives you a good idea of, okay, but again, you want to get more people involved in the side pot, right? Same as when you're on Tourney X or you're on Fishing Chaos and your local trail for kayak or your local boater trail has a $5, $10 side pot for everybody. It goes into a pot and boom, it gets paid out to the winner. That's what side pot fishing is. And so check it out. Pretty cool. I like it. I mean, and I'll probably turn some guys onto this in the boater side here in my area because it'd be really cool to have little side pot competition with people outside of the big, the major organization, MLF or Bassmaster Opens or whatever. So it's really, really cool. I think it's a cool thing. I think you should check it out. Again, sidepotfishing.com. Check it out. All right, guys.